So I'm going to get started. So first, I want to introduce Becca. She's from Food Lab Boulder. And I have a couple of questions for her and then she's going to explain what she did last summer. So Becca, you're not muted anymore. Okay. So first, can you tell us how many years have you been doing summer camp?
Yeah, so Food Lab, this is our 10th year, and I've been managing them for 7.
Okay. And your age of camp kids, what ages do you do?
We start at age 6. We say kindergarten. We kind of rely on the parents to actually make them be 6 and not 5. But yeah, it's 6-ish to 12 to 13 is when they kind of age out.
Do you separate the age groups?
Yes, so they'll sell out at 25 kids. So we'll put them in 5 groups of 5, and we group them by age, which usually works pretty well.
And do your camps typically sell out or get really full?
In years past, we had, not 2020 or 2021, but other years it's been like 90 to 95%. Last year was lower, like 70%. So, and we're kind of doing more marketing stuff this year to hopefully recoup some of that.
Okay, so you had a really cool thing that you did, and I helped you with last summer.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't filling as usual. Can you explain to everybody what you did?
Yeah, it was actually our owner's idea. So usually for all of our stuff, we don't let people drop in. Honestly, we find that the class dynamic, we want them to commit for a full week, of course. And last year, because occupancy was lower, we did open up drop-ins. So Leanne would help us, about a week before the camp, we would allow for a daily drop-in. And I actually this morning went and looked, and we collected 90-day drop-ins last year over the course of the summer through doing that. So, it was a significant booster to our sales.
And what Becca did was she had them set up as a full week series when she first set them up. And she emailed me about a week before any that weren't full, and said, can you flip it to a drop-in so that then people could sign up for the individual days? It took me all of 10 seconds to make that switch on the back, and any of us on the team can do that. And I think it was a great strategy. I didn't realize she got 90 days filled, but 90 people booking doing that. Anybody who wants to kind of do that and you need help with it or questions about it, definitely reach out to us because we can help with that. It's easy. Becca, do you have anything else to share about your camps that you feel are really helpful and with your success?
I do have a couple lessons we learned through the drop-ins. If anyone's considering, it was well worth it despite these things. But if you are thinking about doing it, definitely be prepared for the class dynamic to change because it's different kids. So some days it's just that it's just sometimes, yeah, it just changed. And even our instructors, that was at times challenging for them. So it was just good to go into it prepared of okay, it's different kids today. It might be a different dynamic. The kids are gonna do what they do and feed off each other and feed off the energy of the room. And then the other thing is, we had a lot of people sign up really last minute / overnight. So we got caught with not right staffing. That was hard for us. So that's just something to keep in mind. We definitely this year, we will account for that, in our heads, that 6 spots sold literally overnight one time. So we walked into a way bigger class than we had imagined comparatively. So it was that we ran into that a couple of times too.
Would you consider limiting, so say you have 20, you do 25 available, right? So say you have only 15 and you actually have 10 spots left and we're switching it to drop-in. Would you consider lowering that 10 openings? You know what I'm saying? To make it less chaotic on that side?
Probably, although we probably would I'm not sure. I guess that would be a question for our owner because she usually wants to let in as many people as possible. Of course, we want not only the sales, but the opportunity for the kids to participate. So we probably would actually just keep our staff heavier. In a day that we might cut someone, we might keep them on and cut them earlier in the day or something, instead of calling them off the day before and then being like, just kidding, can you actually work?
Yeah. Yeah, you could. Any other tips and tricks?
I don't think so. I think those were the main things we learned. And yeah, it was surprisingly good. Yes, they just went up. I can share for sure.
If anybody does have questions for Becca, we can go over them now. And there's not many of us on here, so feel free to open your mic and just ask a question. If there was 20, 25 people on there, raising hands is essential, but feel free to just ask.
This is just our kids page. So if you scroll down, the camps are just on that page. We just find for marketing, it's easy for us to put everything on one page so then people can kind of click around.
A lot of places do their camps as a separate. You can make its own calendar, or you could do the book now button where it leads right to the listing. Because it's like it's nice to have your own page on the website about camp, I think.
It is. Yeah, I did that last year, but then I found that it was tough because we kind of want people to see the classes that are like this month too. So we always are going back and forth too. I think you can cut it both ways for sure.
Yeah. Did you see? She said, sorry, she can't talk because I guess she's multitasking. So I don't know if that means she's working someplace else because they have an open office concept. So it's hard to chat. Anybody else have questions for Becca? Samara just took us on a tour of her whole studio there.
I guess I would have a question of just what's your primary marketing method? Are you using email, other types of promotional vehicles? What's the big thing that you do that brings in the most kids?
I would love to. I'm also like always trying to figure out how people find summer camps. I don't have kids, so I'm always like asking people with kids. We use a lot of email. We do some paid ads on like Facebook and Instagram and try to target our area, and then I guess I think it's a lot of word of mouth. So that's what we're always trying to harness. And that's tough. I mean, if anyone else has found anything to be super successful, I was going to ask that question at the end of like what everyone else does, because that's one area that I'm not sure.
I was going to mention too, as far as email goes, you all know that you can go into your occasion workspace, go to your orders page, and you can search, like I would search camp every year and email the people that all signed up for camp last year in January or February and be like, I just posted my camps. Now's the time, especially if I was giving a discount or something like that. And I think that's like awesome that you can pull the people that signed up for that thing last year and just export it into an Excel doc or CSV, and then you have their emails and you can just write them an email. Anybody else have marketing ideas? I'm waiting for Empa to come back so we know if she got a hold of him. Because I actually sent Becca and Sean the questions ahead that I was going to ask, so I can tell you what he said. Is he coming?
Not yet. So I can't get a hold of them via
Okay.
live. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to open my email so I can read you what I asked him now. I want to preface this. Sean, he owns Cambridge Culinary, it's CSCA, Cambridge School of Culinary Arts. So I'm going to read you the questions that I asked them so that you know what they answered. All right. So my first question, obviously, same as I asked Becca, was how many years they've been having camp, and they said 24. So they've been in business quite some time. They're established. So then I asked, I know that your camp is for teens. Do you specifically then change the name because you don't want to call it a camp for teens? And I think teens are an untapped market for a lot of us, but I also know they aren't going to sign up for something that's called camp. Like, it's just a different demographic. So I asked him, do you find that the word camp is off-putting for teens? And he said, we do not call it camp. Because they don't have a professional medical on staff. And I guess where they are, they would need to. They call it teen classes or workshops in order to avoid the guidelines that the state has put in place. They're in the Boston area. And then they did provide a PDF for the state of Massachusetts to review. He said, I tend to overthink things for liability issues. However, all of our staff members are trained in CPR and they hold a renewal every 2 years for their entire staff. Now, they are a cooking school, so, first aid and that kind of stuff. They also run background checks on their people. And I said, another thing, we're directly across the street from a fire station. And that helps with all of their classes because they know that they can get help there almost immediately. So workshops or classes, and it's specifically for teens. They do not call it camp. I said, do you offer a program for younger kids as well? And they said they do preteen 9 to 12, but because their facility, so in addition to their recreational cooking, which is what Occasion books for them, they have also, it's a culinary institute. They train chefs, people who are going to become chefs. So because of that, their facilities geared towards professional training and their tables can't adjust height. So I think at, 9 is their low number because they can't have them in a professional kitchen comfortably, the little kids, because they're too little for the tables. And then I said, what do you attribute your camp's success? And he said, their instructors are chefs and they're very good with the teens. I personally happened to pop in on them one time when I was up in the Boston area, and they happened to have like a spring break teen workshop going on. And that it was so cool to see this male and female mixed group of kids having such a great time learning to cook. They really do a good job. And they use mostly word of mouth, like Becca, and their chef instructors will also tell people about the camp. And that's all I have from Sean. And I apologize because I thought they were going to be here. So something must have happened for him not to get here. Another thing I want to say, because I see this a lot, I talk to different businesses all day long, just like you. And something that I see, and I think this could become problematic, and if anybody else has views on this and they want to chip in, feel free. But I think some of you fall into, because I did too, the trap of wanting to be everything for everybody. So if a mom would come into me and say, I wish you'd do a camp the last week of June because my kids get off school earlier than the other kids. And I'd be like, okay, I'm doing it. I have to do it. This mother wants it, right? So I'd put it on there. I'd post it. I'd tell everybody on the planet. And no one, including that mother who wanted the camp, would sign up. You fall into that trap sometimes too when you're doing like, we're going to do a morning session, an afternoon session, or a full day session. Oh, but what about Susie? She needs to be dropped off at 8. Or Catherine needs to be picked up at 6. And you end up there for 12 hours for one kid. I know because I've been in that situation. You do want to have people sign up. So you try to do everything that everybody needs. But that can be your downfall too, because you're paying staff to be Becca's nodding like crazy. You're paying staff to be there, and you can't in any way, shape, or form fill the needs of every person. And the happiest years I had doing camp were my later years before I gave camp up, when I said, you know what? I don't want to be here past 4. If they need before care and after care, they can sign up at one of these big camps that does take kids all day, because that we're second to them anyway in a lot of ways. So I don't know. How do you all feel? I see Becca nodding, so please feel free to chip in. Do you find that it's best to just do what you do and do it best and not go crazy? You're muted too.
I fortunately, I learned our owner has had that mentality from the get-go. I think she like started this like food lab. She was a mom of 2 small kids. So I think from the jump, she was like, this has to be the way it works for me. And we always operate with that mindset. And anytime we deviate from that, we always regret it. And I hate to say it, but we do, because it's just like, this wasn't worth it in the end.
Yep.
All the like struggle, like you want to provide the great service for people, but it at a certain point, it's like, it's just too much.
I agree. Anybody else have thoughts on that? I know we have somebody in the room who does a little bit of everything. Go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, I'm searching for answers in terms of what's the right package of what you put out there. I'll just briefly say that we've been doing it for 10 years, and we've kind of evolved from 5 days a week to you can sign up for a full day, you can sign up for mornings only, you can sign up for afternoons only, you can do individual day drop-ins. Just trying to use the capacity that we've got to bring in as many as possible. And I've been thinking in the last few years that things are changing with families and parents. And, when we had 5-day camps, it wasn't unusual that parents would miss a day on a Monday or a Friday because they're taking a long weekend. So we used to do everything for everybody. Last year, I said, we're going to really tailor this to sort of just the sweet spots. So I only did Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays. I cut the hours down a little bit. You could sign up for the 3 days. You could sign up for the individual days. It did okay, but it wasn't great. And that's why I'm coming back to whether I have to have a 5-day week or not. I don't know if anyone has opinions on the need to have the full 5 days, because I think that what happens for us, and I'll finish shortly here, what I saw happening is that we're becoming a daycare, especially for the younger kids. People want to sign their kid up. I'm not sure it's for an art camp or just to have some place for them to go for that week. So I pulled away from a little bit from that, but I'm coming back to the idea, this 5 days, a full week, sort of is that the basic thing that you have to offer to get as many folks signed up as you can?
I think from what I see, the majority of our users do a 5-day. And looking at what's happening in the world right now, I think a lot more businesses are making people go back to the office 5 days, where, the last few years hasn't been. So parents didn't need to pay for 5 days. I think this summer there may be more people looking for 5 days. And Amanda just typed something and she can't unmute. So she's saying she's learned the same lesson. They're going to adjust their summer hours to close at 4. And also they're not going to offer before and after care because of legal requirements. They often tell people we're not a daycare, and it's unfortunate that childcare is lacking, but that's what we provide. Samara, go ahead. You're muted.
Oh, hi. So hi, how are you? I'm Samara from the Painting Place. I actually may have missed where people are from when we started. I'm not sure. I would love to know what studios you're from to look and see how you guys are running your camps. So this year we've been in business 24 years and we've been doing camps for a long time. This year we're running it 5 days a week with themes. I've never done themes before. I've just let them come in and do, that way I spur them and I can think we're going to do clay, we're going to do pottery, we're going to do plaster, we're going to do canvas, mining, for whatever it is. But this year I'm doing themes and people seem super excited, but I'm also charging more by the day. So for the week it's $4.99 and then $109 or $15, I don't remember, but something for the day. So that way I'm trying to obviously capture them for the week, but if they need to come for those 3 days, they can do it for the 3 days. And then they just jump in and piggyback on whatever the theme is that week. Or our space is fortunately big enough where we'll have separate classes for the day people and from the week people, if they're already like in a little groove of working together for the week of the items. But you are right, we are secondary to like the camps with pools and tennis and pickleball and running, but we try to encourage that we're doing outdoor time and indoor time. But I was hoping to get a lot of, like, if anyone has other I know this question was asked already, but the marketing, being somebody who has been in business 24 years, it was a lot of print advertising, and that used to work. Obviously, there's no more newspapers or magazines or parent things that people are reading and stuff. So I have signs all over my studio, word of mouth. I do like the idea of emailing. I wish I should get on where I can just email customers, not just from customer lists. If we could just email anyone who's ever done a program, it's on the bucket list. Trust me, my list of him is so long. He came to visit me, by the way, also when he visited Cambridge, for those of you who don't know, and he came to Boston a couple of weeks ago. He came and he was great to work with. So thank you to Occasion. And my two friends over there, Zima, and then my phone. Sorry if I said your name wrong, but we speak often. But no, I think just trying to get them filled up and trying to give them a sense of like urgency. I don't know. I'm in the same kind of boat. I've always had at least a few kids at my vacation camps will do 35, 40 kids if there's no school. But the summer is a different story.
Yeah.
Like this year we're doing lunar, there's no school on Wednesday. And I think I have over 20 kids already signed up for the 29th January.
Well, because you don't have the competition of a big camp right now.
Right. So I think I would love to get more marketing, more ways to kind of make it look appealing. I don't know. I mean, doing themes might be work this year because I already have signups. What did we post it last week?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I already have signups. So we have signups, which is great. And I did do an early bird. I'm sure you guys already do this early bird discount.
And that
Not
ends
by the
in
day.
that ends in February.
Yes, I think I did March 1st. Yep. And I didn't do it by the day. So I just did it for that. But if anyone has tips on full marketing tactics to kind of make us stand out from the others. I mean, I wonder how the culinary guy does. I mean, he has something different and cool and unique.
Yeah.
But so do we. We have pottery.
Well, yeah, all of you do. Like,
We have kilns. People don't have kilns
yeah.
in their house.
Art Factory, you can unmute.
Hey, so my name's Danielle. I'm the program director at the Art Factory. We're in Midlothian, Virginia. So we do week-long summer camps. We have a full day option, which is 9 to 4, or we do half day morning, which is 9 to 12, or half day afternoon, which is 1 to 4. We don't usually have issues with it not filling up. We have about 20 to 25 kids per group. But I was going to say, if it doesn't fill up, then like the night before, because we get last minute signups all the time, I'll open up individual days. But I do it differently. Our listings are set up differently. So I have a separate listing for individual days. So that's the only way, because I was looking at yours, and you have yours set up differently. But yeah, definitely recommend opening the individual days if your full week hasn't sold out. It does make planning and stuff a little wonky, but that's what it is. And it is more expensive if they don't sign up for the full week. So it kind of, the only marketing strategy that I have, I'm in a bunch of, I don't know if this is too old, but I'm on Facebook. I'm in like a ton of just local mom groups. Like they talk and they want to know. Right now, I see so many posts. I mean, they've been posting since like the day after Christmas. They're like, where do you send your kids to camp? And I don't like advertise in the groups because most of the time that's against the rules and stuff. But usually if no one has already naturally commented Art Factory, then I'll just tag us and let them find it or whatever. Yeah, and like a bunch of our mom staff are in the groups too. So if it's not me commenting, it's one of them. So our name is pretty much in all of those posts, and you'll get comments naturally from people that have sent their kids to your camp saying, my kid loved it. It was great, and so just talking to people for real, is awesome.
Yeah. Something I used to do is I had postcards made every year about camp from like Vistaprint, and every birthday party, because I had a kiln like Samara, so people had to pick up their projects. So every birthday party's kit project, like we would bag them up for the people. So if you're picking up 20 birthday party projects, they were each in their own little bag, and we put a postcard in each one about our summer camp coming up, or a flyer, depending on the year what I did. I was also fortunate. I did a lot of after school enrichment in the schools. So those kids, I would always give them a postcard too, because we were at one point pre-COVID, we were in 12 schools throughout the area. So, those kids, we would just give them a postcard about camp. So that helped. Keisha, go ahead.
Okay. I'm Keisha. I'm from Saskatchewan, Canada, freezing cold. I just want to touch base on a few things. So I just moved. This is my 3rd year. I own the art room. We're an art studio, primarily ages 4 to 12, but I do have some other instructors that do adult stuff. But for summer camps last year, because we moved into a bigger location last July, just in time for summer camps, so we had quite big expansion. So we went from having like 10 kids a week to having 25, 30 kids a week. I did themes, and I'll tell you, themes were so great because not only do you have a game plan going in for the week, like you can make projects for that theme. It's kind of pre-planned for you. It takes a lot of the stress out. So I really enjoyed doing themes versus just kind of having a free-for-all. I also made my camps. We do offer before and after at my camps. Our camps run from 9 to 4. And then we have before and after from 8 to 9, and then from 4 to 5, because I have 2 full-time staff in here in the summer. So one works from 8 to 4, one works from 9 to 5. It works well. I often have a 3rd person in here if we have higher numbers, but those are kind of my easy planning 2 core full-time people for the summer. So that's kind of my thought process on themes, because planning is good. I'm also really good at leaving things last minute and then trying to come up with ideas for camps. We did offer, so I used to run summer camps for somebody else, and what I found worked really well, and I've implemented it here, is that I like to offer 1 week in the summer that is for little kids, so like ages 4 to 6 kids, that is just half days. So they sign up for the week just in the mornings, or they sign up for the week just in the afternoons, and then that whole camp that week is geared towards little kids. And then they have the opportunity to come to camp, and it worked well for us last year. Like all of our camps did end up selling out, and that's mainly because we use Facebook a lot. We're in a lot of mom groups. We take out flyers, like Leanne said, and we put them on canvases for every birthday party. I actually last year offered free field trips to schools to come in here for 2 hours in the afternoon, because a lot of schools here get a really small budget for field trips, and a school bus eats up half of that budget. So I offered them to come in for free as long as they took home information about our studio. Every kid got a flyer or a coupon or whatever. They had a poster put up in the school. We just kind of exchanged for marketing. So we had, even just this year, I've kind of done the same thing. We've had 4 to 5 classes a month come in, which every class is 30 to 40 students. And then you're just getting your word out more. And then I also made my kids deliver flyers into mailboxes, because I feel like those kids should work. So that's kind of how we got our big marketing out. We did Google ads too. Google ads worked really well last year. I pushed Google ads in May, and like quite a bit of money towards Google ads. I'm not a marketing person, so I have a lady who does Facebook and stuff for me. I don't know how any of that works. So she did that, but my daughter was coming home from school asking me if she's 8. She's actually 9 today. Today's her birthday. She was asking me if she's famous because her friend at school saw her face on Google. So like it was working. It was good. So yeah, that's my whole thought process on marketing and themes.
Is your business the Art Room Inc?
Yeah, we have very similar businesses, you and I.
Yeah. I was just on your website and I was like, hey, you're selling our paintbrushes and face paint supplies.
Yeah, we totally do.
Very cool.
And Danielle said she also staples flyers to the back of canvases. You got to give these kids you got to send home the paperwork with them if you're going to get your name out there.
Mm-hmm.
And then anybody who's not in mom groups, because I didn't have kids and like I was never in a mom group, but I had friends who were, and they knew the assignment. If they were in there, they better be tagging Magic Arts, and they all did. So you can always enlist your friends on Facebook too. Does anybody else have anything they want to ask or talk about? So
I had one thing to say on the themes, only because we have to do themes because of the cooking. It's like we kind of have to tell them what they're making. And one thing that's really helpful about it year over year is you can see what sells the best and then start to pad your programming, like baking, and everyone just wants to bake. So like 60% of our camps are baking, and then the other 40% are other things, only for the kids that are going to do more than one. Honestly, we could just do an entire baking summer and it would probably sell just as good as anything else, because that's like all the kids with all the baking competition shows and stuff, they're all just so obsessed with baking.
We tried, now I was an art studio, but for a few years, our camp, I essentially built a kitchen in my studio. We had like little electric burners and toaster ovens, and then one that was in my studio. And then I rented space in a church to do camp where we had a commercial grade kitchen. And God, the cooking classes, man, they killed it over art. Like I would always sell my cooking camps out. So if you can make a kitchen, I can tell you how. And just start doing cooking with them. I mean, if you're up for it. My mom was a home ec teacher, so I come by that naturally, and not everybody does, but it's an idea. Amanda also does half-day preschool camps for 2 weeks out of the summer, and they sell out fast. So the same idea as Keisha. Anybody else have something to share or a question they want to ask? Has everybody done their camp listings already?
No.
If you, and Keisha's shaking her head too, if you need help with them, we're here for that. And Poe and Dima can certainly help you, or I can help you with your camp listings. Don't be afraid to ask. And if anybody,
I'll throw out an idea that we tried a little bit towards the end of last year, and it seemed to have some legs. And we are in schools during the school year. Every day, we got people packing up their little carts and going off and doing an after-school class at our public elementary schools. And so that's the vehicle we use a lot as far as promoting whatever it might be. And certainly camps, whether it's sending stuff home with the kids from the class with a flyer, or just a lot of email, because once they've signed up for an after-school class, we've got that email that we can continue to use for all sorts of things. Our school programs are coordinated by PTOs, usually moms and dads who volunteer to do it. There's a very high amount of variability in terms of the level of competence that you're dealing with. But I tried last year, because all these PTOs have another thing that they do that they're really big on. It's raising money for whatever it is that they need. So I basically started a program where I got a couple of the coordinators at the different schools to agree promote our summer camp to the whole school. And I had an entry on our enrollment form that said, are you enrolling for this school, this school, this school, or this school? So I got a handful of them that did that. And what I did is I sent, I don't even remember what it was. It's like $10 or something like that. But we kept track of the numbers of kids that had signed up, and then just sent a check back to the school. So I think it needs a little bit more development, but the idea there was that if you're going to market to a school that you teach after school, you're going to probably only get 25 families to market to. If you can get the PTO to do it in the interest of getting some funds back to them, they'll market it to the entire school repeatedly. And I think it's one of those things that does have some legs, but I'm going to try it again this summer.
yeah, I think that's a great idea. It's like, that's a no-brainer. Anybody else? Questions, comments? If anybody wants to do Becca's drop-in idea, just let us know and we can help you figure out how to set that up too.
One question for everyone. Do you blanket all of the time off in the course of the summer? I mean, if there's, camp starts or vacation starts the first week of June and runs till the third week of August, do you have a camp every week, or do you cut back? I've started to cut off sort of the first week and the last weeks, because I've seen that they don't get as well attended. But I'm just curious as to what others are doing there.
Feel free to unmute and tell us what you do.
We do every single week.
And I feel like the first week out of school and the last week before they go back to school are our highest attended, because other camps don't do, like the main camps around here don't do camps. They usually start like a week after school gets out, and then they end like the 18th of August. So those are my highest attendance. So this year from early bird specials, I didn't do early bird pricing for those because those fill up anyway, regardless. I only did early bird from January 7th through August 18th. And I blocked off July 4th. The week of July 4th, I don't do camp at all because I personally go away and I like to be present when there's camp going on. Right, Mia? But yeah, that's it. I mean, there's no way to really block off dates. You have to like go in and unclick them individually, right? From occasion.
Yes.
So I went in and, or some Leanne went in and unclicked it, but I unclicked all, no, I have to go in and unclick all my reservations, my flex drop off and everything for that whole week. We're going to have to figure something out again. When I go away, that we'll talk about it. But I don't know if you guys have run into that. If you block off a week on your calendar or a day or two on your calendar, you have to just make it inactive or so no one can book.
A little backstory for the rest of you. Samar's calendar is insane. Like she has something every half hour of every day. It's crazy. So a lot of people don't have that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm open anyway, paying rent. I have all this space, gotta do something. I mean, that's my theory is if I'm here and I'm open and I have staff and there's people here, I want people to be in the building. So
Yeah, it's a good theory.
but yeah, no, that's what I do. I do the heavy weeks and then no discounts on the heavy weeks and discount on the other ones. But
Does everybody else do every week?
We do the full summer, yeah. But last year here, I'm in Colorado. They're off like right after Memorial Day through like the first or second week of August. Like the schedule here seems far different from like what I had growing up. It's very early to me. So we usually do a prorated week that week of Memorial Day. So we'll do a 4-day week. And then they always go back to school on like a Thursday for some reason. So we will often do day camps on that final week so that people can drop in. And those same as Samara, that week will sell out. The week, like the last full week of camp will always sell out. And then those drop-ins last year sold really well for us too, because people are just, they don't have anything to do with they're like looking for things for their kids to do because they're at work and their kids still need care. So
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
You'll have to forgive me because we have different holidays. So I kind of get what you're saying, but so we do the same thing, like I guess would be Canada Day, it's like July. And then we have the 4 days. So I was going to mention too, because I brought up a good point those 4 days weeks instead of the 5-day weeks, because we do camps all 9 weeks. Those 4-day weeks are the weeks that I always do the littler kids too, like, because it's already it's a smaller week. I have 4 days that I need to fill. I could have either not ran a camp. You know, a lot of people are gone on holidays or take long trips or whatever. So those are always the weeks, like Victoria Day. No, I don't, whatever day. Anyway, there's like 2 or 3 that happen throughout the summer that turns it into a 4-day week. Those are the days that I pick to either do that I do drop-in options, like a drop-in day camp just for that week, because I don't give drop-in day camps during the summer, or I do like a little younger kid half-day camp those weeks to offer, you know, because there's always everybody that wants something of some degree. So I go, yeah, we totally have a drop-in option on this week, or we totally have a 4 to 6 half-day option on this week, and it's always only those 4-day weeks that I give those options for. So that's always kind of a good idea too, to fill up the shorter weeks, because all of the full 5-day weeks, whether it's right after or right before school starts again, are usually pretty full. So just an idea.
Anybody else? I think this was really good. I think you guys had a good sharing of ideas. So, and I appreciate Becca, you coming on, especially to tell us how you do things. And if anybody needs help with their camp listings, now is the time. You can, I know everybody's working on it right now. I mean, not now is the time you have to do it. But I'm wondering if anyone is able to offer payment options. Amanda's asking. Do you mean deposit versus full week?
I do it if people ask. It's kind of a pain, but I mean, if they ask, then I usually will say yes. And I just do a 50-50. And I usually just set up, I think, an automated invoice to be sent to them. It's
You're-
definitely work, but I don't usually have that many people ask, so I usually just say yes.
And it is tricky because there's no way to do it on occasion. We just had somebody, I think, asked, oh, it was Gabby, it wasn't Dima. Somebody just asked Gabby this week, they wanted to offer them either they could pay a deposit or pay in full. And we can set that up in occasion, but we don't monitor it. Like there's no way you are then stuck keeping an eye on it. And, you know, you have to make sure that that person ends up paying. So that can be kind of, depending how busy you are, that can be a pain in the neck.
We take a 30% deposit at booking, and then we collect the remaining balance 1 week before their camp week starts. So we do all that manually right now, which is a pain, but with a new calendar, it's much better. And we were talking to Ash about making this an automated thing that could happen, and also about payment plans, because we have people ask as well. So I think that's somewhere in his brain.
Yeah, it is. And I think it definitely eventually could happen, but for the time being, unfortunately, you're stuck kind of manually monitoring those and making sure that you actually get paid from everybody.
It would be tricky. I think it would be tricky no matter what, right? Because it's like even if the system organized it, if they didn't make the second payment, it would have to pull them out, and then you'd already have like held that spot. Like I feel like it's tricky. It's just tricky all around, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough.
What we ran into was, cards declined because they've expired, or they replaced it for whatever reason. So then we're calling them to get a card. I would say probably maybe 4 out of every 25 probably fail, and we have to call them. But I know he's also working on the invoicing feature to be able to just send them an invoice and be like, hey, your payment didn't process. Please enter a new card number, so they can just do it on their phone or their computer or whatever, and we don't have to physically call them anymore.
Yeah,
But
that would be amazing.
yeah, I know. I sent him a nice long summer wish list, but I think it might be next summer, I guess.
Also, I'm not the only one. Could you do me a favor? And I have to hop off. We have a birthday party and people are starting to come in. Can you just send a list of everyone who is on here so we can take a peek at each other's listings and stuff? Because I feel like I always learn from other people's, the way they have things set up or questions they may ask. Or so if I can ask one of you guys to just do that. I don't think there are that many studios on. Maybe
No.
include Sean's.
I think I'm going to post in the Facebook group asking all art studios to post their summer camp links, if they don't mind,
Yeah.
in the occasion Facebook group.
Yeah.
How are you?
That way there might be
Thank you.
more.
I may mute myself.
I can post in there, Danielle, and just ask everybody.
Yeah, because I was already nosing around some of y'all's, and I like learning from others.
Yeah.
love it.
I
And then
mean,
from the Facebook groups, it's so tricky. I always feel funny about responding. Like I'm in a ton of mom groups because obviously I have kids as well. And I just feel funny about promoting my own business and answering. I was doing it for a long time, but then I feel like almost like desperate when I jump in and I'm like, oh, we offer camp or I love when other people, but that's a great idea to try to get other people to kind of respond and
your friend,
reply.
like especially my friends who I gave free stuff or discounts to, their job was to be out there putting my name places, and they knew it.
Yeah.
Like, they're my best friends. Of course they're going to do it.
Right. Right. And they see it more than I see it. There's so many that I probably don't even see that I miss because I'm not on it as much as other people maybe.
Right.
And I'm not in every group, and a lot of the groups around here don't allow you, if you're a business owner, they don't allow you to post anything.
Yeah.
They really monitor it like hawks.
That happened to me with my township. I couldn't even respond to a post about camps.
Right.
it was
They get a little,
business.
which is like, I don't know, it's a little silly because we're benefiting. We're doing a service. We're benefiting the families. We're benefiting the parents. We're benefiting us, a small business. Like, it's kind of wacky, and it's our way of marketing now. There's no one's picking up newspapers or magazines.
How is it less
It's not-
insidious than you
Thank
like
you.
you
Good
can
to see
track
you.
down people's address and send them mail? So it's like, how is that less like,
I know. It's crazy.
I know. Maybe we do postcards again, but it's so expensive.
And I don't know, mail, I don't know because I've never done it, but I know what I do when my mail comes. I just go through and I stand right next to the garbage can. I don't even look
Yep.
at anything that comes anymore.
But if it's a discount or if it's something, you might put it aside. You might move it around from one counter to the next, but at least it's there and you keep seeing it, repeating it.
Yeah.
We
Sorry.
tried direct mail at the holidays and we put a little thing, like if you bring it in, you get, a free glass of wine. It was for our adult stuff. We've had a few come back, but it was expensive. And I
Yeah.
don't necessarily think it was an experiment for us. I don't know that we'll do it again for at least our
Right.
Boulder location. But yeah, I feel like if we had been able to include a discount, or we've talked about like some sort of resource that makes people save it, like not just a discount, but almost like something that they want to put on their fridge. Like, but I don't exactly know what that would be. So yeah, that's our thought process so far, but we're in the same boat.
I love the idea that Ray has about reaching out to PTOs. Because I think, those PTOs are always looking for some kind of fundraiser. And that's like so passive. Like it's so easy for them to promote.
That's the key. Yeah, passive fundraisers that they don't have to do anything on other than send a couple emails out.
Yeah.
I just thought of something just really quickly. Sorry, I know everybody has to go. So speaking of fundraisers, what I did this past year is my daughter's in cheerleading, which is like crazy expensive. But anyway, they were looking for a fundraiser. And so what I did was created paint kits, like out of canvas. I made this nice little Canva, step-by-step, whatever, with a picture of the painting. They got 5 different choices to choose from. I included like a cheap set of brushes, 5 pots, paper towel, like whatever you need to complete the painting. And they sold those as a fundraiser, and included in every single one of those paint kits was my information about the studio. And so like my cost to make the paint kit was like $4. They sold them for $20. I made money off the paint kits and I got advertising out of it. I kind of felt like a multi-level marketing person at that point because people were selling my stuff, but like they made a bunch of money, I made money, and we had flyers like go out into the world. So that's, if you're going to reach out to somebody regarding fundraising, that's like, I don't know what you guys all do around there for fundraising, but paint kits was something new here. Everybody sells chocolate and all the other things. And so it was kind of fun to introduce something new into the fundraising market here. So I have to order hundreds of more canvases if I want to do that on a bigger scale, but just maybe a thought to go off with.
Idea. It's a great idea.
Mm-hmm. Also, Leanne, can you send me the link to this Facebook page that everybody's talking about? Because I don't believe I'm on it.
Yes.
I'm also not in it, and I'm feeling the same way. Like, oh, Facebook, yeah.
Yeah, we have a Facebook group that's only occasion users.
We just didn't get the invite, Becca.
I probably did. Yeah. I feel like me. I'm like, I probably did. I probably just didn't like do it.
Yeah, distracted. I got you.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank all of you for coming, and our hour is almost up. It's 3:56 my time. So I appreciate you all coming. I appreciate you all sharing ideas so openly. I think there's not enough of that, and I think it's a really good way to get ideas. We're all here. There's room for everybody. Why not share, So I appreciate it. And thank you, Becca, for making a point of being here to tell us how you did last year. I appreciate it. So everybody have a great day. I'll send
Is anyone coming to GARE? Is anyone coming to GARE in March? No. I guess we're not all pottery studios, are we?
No.
No.
But
All
some,
right.
quite a few of you are.
Okay. Well, anyway, hopefully we'll meet soon. And yeah, send the list. I'm going to hop off. Leanne, thank you for doing this.
Mhm.
Thank
All
you,
right.
everybody. Good luck.
Thank you so
Everybody.
much.